If you'd been waiting your whole career to win Olympic gold, and you got to match point, where would you hit the shot? What's up team, Coach Joshua here, TennisTactics.com. Novak Djokovic made a name for himself by playing high percentage tennis. But on match point of the 2024 gold medal match, Djokovic pulled out a returning tactic that caught Carlos Alcaraz by surprise. Today we're looking at tactic 2-2-3-3-1. So let's draw it out. But first, do me a favor and subscribe to my channel so I can bring you more tennis tactics. The play looks something like this. You are the returner on the deuce side. The server serves into your body, and if you're a righty, this catches your backhand. So you aim your backhand return to the deep middle of the court, but kind of on the ad side, to reduce your opponent's potential angles. Then the server plays their first ball cross court, which is pretty standard stuff. But when you get to ball 4, the returner plays a deep shot to the deuce side. Rewatching this point, I've got to highlight why this is wild. The body serve to the backhand is a great move to jam a good returner. But Novak is a great returner and plays what I think is the ideal shot here. He lands his return right in this zone. Deep middle and a little on the ad side. This is a big landing zone, so it's likely you can make this shot. It also keeps your opponent deep in the court. And by keeping them in the middle of the court, it reduces their potential angles they have to hit on their first shot. All good stuff. From this position, Alcaraz plays a sensible first ball. He rolls this backhand cross court. He emphasizes depth and is just trying to get the point started after a great return. And now the two players get to this position. Alcaraz is in the middle of the court, and Djokovic has run all the way around from the edge of the deuce court now to the edge of the ad court as he tries to hit his forehand. That's kind of crazy, but not unseen. We see people do this, and they usually roll this ball back cross court. That follows the long line of the court, so they're less likely to miss. It targets the Alcaraz backhand, and it evens out the amount of court that each player is protecting, because Alcaraz is likely to play this ball back cross court. So this cross court target is exactly what Alcaraz was expecting. But Djokovic flips the script. He changes direction and hits into the deuce corner. Now he does the work to make this a fair play. He gets pretty close to the baseline, so he's kind of stepping in. But there's a couple things that make this more risky than normal. One, he stays kind of off balance, which is uncharacteristic for Djokovic. And two, from this position, he actually hits a little bit of an inside-in angle, which we usually stay away from because this shortens the amount of court we have to hit into. But critical to note, he does still aim this shot to pass through the baseline instead of the sidelines. It was just the very, very edge of that baseline. And Novak did hit this shot pretty hard, which is good news for him because if Alcaraz had got this, there would have been a clear cross-court opening. Novak would have been on the run for sure. But all that being said, this target caught Alcaraz off guard and let Djokovic seal this match with a clean winner. And I know what you're thinking, what a play! And I'll admit, it is a sweet play. But should you copy it? Let's analyze just how effective this play is compared to some others. Remember, we always want to evaluate tactics in terms of how risky they are to execute and how much damage they do to your opponent. This play comes with a high risk rating. From an execution standpoint, this one's tough. There's a lot of movement involved and you're targeting a shorter line of the court. Not to mention that Alcaraz got this first ball fairly deep in the court. Djokovic wasn't able to step too far inside the baseline. From a position standpoint, this also is high risk for us. Notice that if Alcaraz would have got to ball 4, there's a big hole open on the court, and Alcaraz has a high percentage cross-court shot to hit that target. Risky position. But the aggression level is also high. It's an aggressive play that looks to capitalize on a great return. But once Novak hits this ball, he's steering the point to end. This is not a point extending decision, this is a finishing decision. The good news is a lot of players wouldn't do this, so opponents shouldn't be expecting it. There's an element of surprise that comes with this tactic, and you might be able to take advantage of that. That also ups the aggression level. This play should mostly be considered as a mix-in, when you're mixing things up to keep your opponent guessing. And ideally, you use it when you can get your feet a little inside the baseline on ball 4. It's also especially useful if you find your opponent really hugging the ad side of the court to protect their backhand. It's great for opening up a spread. This is a great opportunity to get them out of that corner and out of their comfort zone. That's the most likely use for recreational players. We often see a lot of players that protect their backhands by scooting over to the ad side of the court. That way, 3/4 of the court is covered by their forehand and only 1/4 is covered by their backhand. So if your opponent serves and then hovers over to this side of the court, running tactic 2-2-3-3-1 is a great way to disrupt their patterns. It is a little risky, so make sure you pick the right time to do it. But if you can master this, it just might help you bring home the gold too. If you want to learn more tennis tactics, I'll be dropping a ton of free content here on YouTube. So go ahead, like this video, subscribe to my channel, maybe ring the bell. I'll be dropping video lessons from my tactics library at least once a week, and you don't want to miss it. And if you want even more tennis tactics, head on over to my website, TennisTactics.com, and sign up for my newsletter to stay in touch. Until then, hit your targets. We'll talk soon.